useful analysis. And greater coverage than Capital OTB and OTB TV. Watch, wager, and win with Capital OTB and OTB TV.
Chasing her, Angela Renee has dropped 7 lengths off the lead. Then farther back, it's Darling Sky, and it is Commando splashing down the stretch here at the Spa, and she's all alone for the final furlong of the spinaway. And then it's By the Moon, and farther back, Angela Renee coming down to the finish. Commando was splash-tastic. By the Moon second, Angela Renee third.
And there it was 1 year ago, the final call from Tom Durkin, the spin away, and we're happy to be joined out by Tom Durkin. Tom was at the track yesterday, and as Steve said earlier, a lot of baby pictures, a lot of autographs, a lot of mingling with the crowd.
Yes,
is that going to be the game plan?
Shaking babies and kissing hands. Yeah, that's what I do now. I just go around, shake the babies, kiss the hands, and yeah, it's all good though. It's all, I've made a couple discoveries. You know, having been up in the booth, you know, for all those years. First of all, the small program's $1.50. Now, I haven't bought a program since they were maybe a quarter. And I went there the other day, get the program, search around for some change, $1.50. Okay, you know, I get it.
Did you buy a lucky pencil?
No. And that backyard is not air conditioned.
It's all new,
Come
right?
on
It's
now.
all new to you now.
It's a new world.
And the other thing is, don't start drinking before the double. Those are I'm learning something every day, so.
It's hard being a fan.
I know. I always thought I had a hard job, you know, and you know, geez, that seems pretty cushy to me. You know, I had my booth was air conditioned, okay, and a lot of people like to come up and just hang out all day and, you know, think like I don't really have anything to do. So before I knew that somebody was going to come up, I turned off the air conditioning and close all the doors and take the 2 seats that were in there and put them in the back room so that these people would come in. They so hot in here, and I go, oh, my voice, I can't take the air conditioning. It's my voice. I can stop. Is there any place to sit down? I don't like to sit down. It takes my energy away. You know, so they stay up there for about 15 minutes, and then they get out, turn up the air, crank it down to about 61.
We saw the last call there. I think we also have some footage of the ceremony afterwards, and I just have to ask you, because I think everybody just had a great time that day. You came down, gave an emotional, really nice speech with the ceremony in the winner's circle, and then the truck ride up and down the stretch. There, we'll see that in a minute, tossing out the T-shirts. You know, I think you have to feel like you made the right decision calling it a career up here at Saratoga. It was just a great day.
Oh, no question about it. Yeah, so this idea...
Your idea, right?
Yes, but they also wanted to cover some music of me. They wanted me to like walk off into the sunset or something dopey, and then they said, okay, we're gonna have a song to play for you, okay? I've had the time of my life. That dopey song from Dirty Dancing. I went, oh, are you kidding me? I said, here's what's gonna happen. I'm gonna get in a truck and I'm gonna throw T-shirts to people, and you're gonna play Mozart's the last movement of Mozart's last symphony, the Jupiter Symphony. No. Mozart? So anyway, it worked.
It absolutely did work. That was fabulous.
Yeah. Well,
and that was last year. Just give us a little overview of how's retirement going.
Good. I'm really busy doing different stuff. It's much busier than I thought it was going to be, but I feel great. I mean, this lack of stress is just something I've lived with for years and years, and not to have it, it's just physically you just feel, and mentally certainly you feel different, and so I'm enjoying it much more than I thought it was. I do not miss race calling for a second. Okay, sure, I walked into the announcer's booth 9 times on Belmont Stakes Day thinking I'd walk out calling a Triple Crown winner. I quit, and immediately after 37 years, the horse won the Triple Crown! Thanks for that, Lord.
And that, it's funny because
I'm only kidding.
but it was almost like one of those things where you could see it. It was like a train wreck in slow motion when it came, right?
Yeah, I've been called a train wreck before. Yeah, that's right.
You know, it's funny because you talk about the booth, And I laughed when Larry Colmus sent out a tweet last week when he moved up. He moved into his apartment, and he sent a tweet out about how small and cramped the booth was.
For him, he's a foot shorter than I am.
Exactly. He's half your size. And he's complaining about how intimate the booth is.
Oh, the booth is it was built for Fred Capicella, who was vertically challenged. Let's just say that. And it's meant there's a little platform out there, so you can put your arms down and look at your binoculars like this. It was built for Fred. Well, my not like this. So it's a goofy booth, but we love it.
Well, the number of times it's really remarkable, Tom, because since last September, almost every stake will come up, and there's obviously a critical analysis that's going on, and Colmus is under a microscope, but one after another, the conversations about people's, and we discussed this last year, about them talking about their favorite Durkin call, and with every stake that comes up, and when the internet age, people keep let's look back to the test in 2002. Let's look back to whatever. For me, it's Clock Stopper, Ghost Zapper, one after another, and people hear your voice and they're reminded how much they miss you. And I'm sure you're.
Well,
touched
yeah, but
by
that's
it.
you got 23 years worth of stuff. You're bound to do something good once in a while. So and the videotape is also damning as well. So that's a double-edged sword.
Sides, yeah.
There's a few things that did I really say that? Oh, geez.
In terms of what you've been approached to do, and I know there's been some coaching and some suggestions of helping race callers, and not just race callers. What about voiceover type work? And there's a whole industry of vocal coaching and that kind of thing. Talk about the underworld of broadcast from that side of the coin.
Well, I do voiceover work, but it's mostly for horse racing folks. And everybody thinks, voiceovers. And first of all, I always thought I'd be okay at reading books on tape. And I probably would be. But it doesn't pay. It's just not a great paying job, and it takes forever to do. Commercial voiceovers is, again, a really hard job. When I lived in New York City, it was okay because I go on these auditions and whatever. I'd get on the subway. All that business is in New York, and all that business is tied up among, a half a dozen people, really. It's great paying, but again, it's really, really hard to get the work, and I can't do it up here. There's just no way to do it. So, I'd like to do it, but, you can put my phone number on the crawl here, and and by the way, I got a little sign. I take it out when I sit out before the races start at the clubhouse entrance. There's a little sign that says, "We'll call races for food." So just
will you come over to a picnic table and call personally for a burger?
Like Sam the Bugler, you take a tip and you can call a favorite race.
He's got the hands playing like this. I love Sam. God bless him.
Talk a little bit also about in retirement. You moved over to become an owner, right? You have some thoroughbreds you're involved with.
I do, yeah. I own a very small portion. Apparently, it's the portion that eats of a few horses with West Point, and they're a great group of guys. And we got 4 2-year-olds. And
are they up here? Seeing the winner's circle?
Not all of them are up here. 2 of them are up here. One's at Belmont, one's still at the farm in
all right, well, maybe we'll see you in the winner's circle.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Well, and certainly when it comes to the winner's circle on the standardbred side, you've had this long run, and
terrific, yeah.
It's amazing, actually.
Yeah, we had Coraggioso, a terrific horse. He won 29 races, $700,000. We bred him and whatever. We just sold his full brother. Coraggioso liked to win. Eletrisante liked to eat. And then as soon as we sold him, he wins in 57-3. But that's all good.
You mentioned the food, and I'm not. We're not going to let you go without talking about some wine choices as a connoisseur, and the dining landscape in town. And of course, you're living up here. keeps changing, keeps evolving. Where are you frequenting?
The restaurant business now has really gotten tough for these guys because there's so many restaurants now. I mean, there was a time when you could just throw out a bowl of spaghetti and charge what you wanted and everybody show up. That's not the case anymore. Great restaurant that's new in town, 15 Church Street. It's the place to go now. But I'm pretty sure that the guy told me that they were Paul McCaffrey, that they are booked every Friday and Saturday for the rest of the meetings. But it's a fun place and it's very comfortable outside. And Sperry's has always been a go-to place of mine. I like the Crown Grill right on Broadway if I'm going there. Mamma Mia's is a great joint. It's on Route 50 near the Price Chopper there. Really, really reasonable, and Giuseppe runs a good show there. Nove is, again, one of my great Italian places to go to. Jacob and Anthony's got a great bar there. I love the bar there. Jacob and Anthony's very comfortable. There's a new bar in the Embassy Suites Hotel, and bars are very important to me. I have to tell you. And after the races are over, when I was calling races, I just all I want is a bar stool. Just give me a bar stool for about an hour. Throw some food in front of me. And I can go home and get up and wash, rinse, and repeat. And. But that, so those are commodious places to sit down, and it's fun. You talk races and talk racing and whatever. It's all great.
You mentioned Giuseppe and Mamma Mia. I've got to mention, it gives a perfect opportunity. If you're in town tomorrow, the Thoroughbred Retirement Foundation Hay, Oats, and Spaghetti dinner tomorrow night at Bravo, which of course Giuseppe and his wife have opened.
The old Joe Collins, the old
Jack Dillons.
Jack Dillons, yeah.
Exactly. And so I want to make sure, there it is. There's a little Hay, Oats, and Spaghetti tomorrow night, 6 to 9. It's a $75 donation for TRF, who of course has a herd of almost 1,000 retired thoroughbreds. TRF handles horses literally when they have no other job to do. They'll keep them from age 6 to 26, and it's a taxing responsibility. Come out. It's become really one of the fun casual nights among the fundraisers, and it's really a chance early in the meet for everybody to sort of reacquaint. 6 to 9 tomorrow night at the new Bravo, and should be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I'm actually looking forward to, as I advance in years and get into my dotage, that perhaps those guys will be able to give me a stall or a paddock real nice, so I can just relax.
Shoveling the spaghetti instead of the hay.
Yeah, I've been shoveling a lot for a lot of years, but yeah.
I'm going to put you on the spot just because I don't know whether you will remember the story, and I barely remember it.
Oh, I did not know she was only 16. I did not know that.
Another story.
Oh.
We were out here 5 or 6 years ago, and it was early in your career, and it was a racetrack and fireworks. I don't know if you're going to remember that. And I don't remember it exactly. I just remember you telling the story, and I was on the floor. It was a small track early in the career, and it might have been the 4th of July.
Cahokia?
Fireworks. We used to get acts. We had a guy that on the 4th of July would be a big day for us, so we always get an act. We had a guy that the name of his act was The Man Who Blows Himself Up.
Oh, that was it. That's it.
It was just hysterical, man.
That's going to pull people in. Maybe we can try that here someday.
It was my idea.
Tom,
he wasn't as good as Zeke the Wonder Dog.
Zeke the Wonder Dog?
Or Shark Night. That's when Jaws was really key. So we had Jaws night at Cahokia Downs. Any person coming with a live man-eating shark would be admitted free.
Is the man that blows himself up a one-time deal? Is that like...
He falls that thing. He packs himself into the stuff, big signs that say dynamite, dynamite, and he lights the fuse and he sits like this and boom, and he flies off the chair and we've got the EMTs standing right by, with fire hoses and he goes, he's okay, ladies and gentlemen.
And now to post parade for race number 2.
Yes, come on. At Cahokia Downs, we had, it was East St. Louis, Illinois, so hot. And the upper part of the grandstand was glass enclosed. You had to pay $0.25 extra for the air conditioning.
Cahokia, gosh, you know, it's funny. We got a kid, this Rafael Hernandez, who's in from Fairmount, and is really making a name for himself and breaking in. In fact, may break out a little bit today with a couple of mounts. But you know, we've talked any number of times, Tom, about those, you know, some of those early days and some of the gigs, and you know, it is great that all of this. You talk about the last, you know, whatever decade or quarter century of races on tape, but there's also things like the match game, the match game appearance, which will live forever on.
Now everybody's gonna go on. Oh, I got to Google match game Tom Durkin.
Match game Tom Durkin.
Oh my God, Tom, you had hair and it was red. Oh, you know Gene Rayburn. Oh God. And how come you didn't know the answer to the final question?
Well, that game, it wasn't so much on you. It was on Charles Nelson Riley or Brett Summers or to come up with the match.
I mean, Charles Nelson Riley. We had to go into makeup. You know what it's like to go into makeup with Charles Nelson Riley? Hysterical. All I can say is just let your imagination go.
They had that whole cast of characters on that show. Before we let you go, I want to go back also in the year you've been off earlier this year, Lifetime Achievement Award, Clips Award. What did that mean?
Oh, that was great. What a great night. The Clips Award of Merit, yeah. Down at Gulfstream Park, and I got my little statue, and it's right on my mantle. And that was unbelievable. I mean, for an announcer to get that, that just blew me away. And yeah, it's just it's all been good. It's all been unbelievably good. People are so nice, and my career was so blessed to have been able to, you know, call these great competitions and have a seat in the front row for, you know, 25 years of the best racing going. So I'm a pretty lucky guy.
Well, and we're lucky to have been able to enjoy Tom's work for the breadth of the career and so many indelible moments that just now, of course, will live forever. It used to be that you'd hear him one time and you'd have to wait for you know, the newsreel or you know, some opportunity like that to you know, relive them. But
go to the movies on Saturday. Last Saturday afternoon at Saratoga, the crowd's gathering for fourth. But who's going to win? Is it going to be Manowar or will he be upset? We'll find out. And here's Tom Durkin. What
on the Cavalcade of News.
So, you know, clickety, clickety, clickety.
Exactly. I mean, but now you can watch these over and over again, and I've got to tell you that from a personal standpoint, our first win here with Ausable Chasm, that you know, I get to go back and watch it, and you know that.
I remember when I started at was then known as Florida Downs, now known as Tampa Bay Downs. So they wanted to get the feature stretch run of the feature race on TV every night. So the guy the guy used videotape because the television station at that time was using videotape. It was black and white, but then we had to sync up my call, which I recorded on a cassette tape recorder. But I had to sync it up and say these exact words just as they hit the quarter pole, and the technician would make me. And as they hit the quarter pole, then I hit the cassette recorder. And then they call the stretch. Then he'd take it and he'd drive over and try to get to the TV station in time.
Oh my God.
Put the videotape on, matched up with the cassette call. Just
So he'd be in the studio as they hit the quarter pole. He'd hit the button.
No, I hit the button.
No, but I'm saying that on the other end.
Oh, on the other end,
he'd sync up as they hit the quarter pole. He'd start you.
Yeah, it was, So the technology has gotten a little better, as you can tell.
Yes, exactly.
And by the way, this morning I couldn't handicap today because I ran out of ink.
I
went to Staples and they don't open till 10 o'clock on Sunday. So I have no idea what's going on today. Yeah.
There are bonuses and minuses as well. Tom, we absolutely appreciate the visit, and folks will be able to look for you in and around the track during the season and in and around town as well. And
am I going to get any parting gifts like I did on the match game?
You are. You're going to get a gift certificate to the West Side, to Dave Harmon's.
Oh, good. Dave Harmon's.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Oh, very good.
And we've got a Saratoga cap for you.
Oh, excellent. I remember years ago he owned the Stadium Cafe. Yeah, good. He opened the Stadium Cafe. I don't have any of those. He opened the Stadium Cafe, Dave, on Broadway.
Yeah.
Sports bar. And no smoking. You couldn't smoke. And everyone, are you out of your mind? A bar you can't smoke? A sports bar you can't smoke? Can't get in there.
It was ahead of the curve.
Right off the bat. Yeah. So Dave's a sharp guy, and you can see him here at the track. He's taking pictures of every race every day.
Our guest,
slowest walking person I've ever met in my life. He just like, his pulse rate's about 22.
He is a placid.
He is. He is serene.
The West Side, which of course is the longtime sponsor of Loose on the Lead, and our guests, Tom Durkin and Rich Migliori, will enjoy whatever they want, a repast or a cocktail.
Yeah.
And you enjoy repasts and cocktails.
Vittles and victuals, absolutely.
Tom Durkin, everybody.
All right, we'll wrap things up for this morning. First Sunday here at Saratoga, live from the backstretch. We'll be here every Sunday morning, as usual, 10 a.m. Join us. Don't forget questions or comments, suggestions as well. Loose on the Lead at yahoo.com. We'd love to hear from